Still warm, the side of the bed that isn't mine. Still warm from the someone I woke before. I get up careful, don't disturb the warmth they're keeping. Just carry it a moment at the door. There's a specific tenderness in mornings where someone's sleeping and you're the one who rises first in quiet. You hold the house, you hold the dark, you hold the stillness. You are the morning's unofficial quiet ride. Still warm, the evidence of someone here. Still warm, the proof that I have something near. The side of the bed that holds the shape of the sleeping. Still warm, the thing I'm always keeping. I make the coffee with the volume of the careful. The kettle fill, the cupboard close, the soft. The whole kitchen becomes a kind of consideration for the person still asleep, one room aloft. And in the caring of the quiet, in the watching of the steam rise in the morning coming gray, I understand that love is mostly in the choosing to be gentle every ordinary day. Still warm, the evidence of someone here. Still warm, the proof that I have something near. The side of the bed that holds the shape of the sleeping. Still warm, the thing I'm always keeping. Don't rush the quiet morning. It's doing something important while they sleep. The still warm side of everything you're holding is the thing that's yours to keep. Still warm, and I carry it to the kitchen. Still warm, I won't forget I'm listening to the shape of someone sleeping in the next room. Still warm, and that's enough to bloom.
Space between sleeping and being awake is where I live the truest version of myself. Before the guard returns and the performance wakes with it, before I remember what I'm supposed to want and feel. I've been trying to extend that space deliberately, lying still when consciousness arrives, not yet agreeing to the day, just holding the membrane of the in-between, where the body knows things that the waking mind keeps fleeing. The space between sleeping, that's where I tell the truth. The space between sleeping, the most honest kind of proof that something underneath the surface knows what's real. The space between sleeping is the most I ever feel. This morning I lay still for 40 minutes in that space, long enough to hear 3 different things I hadn't known. Something about forgiveness and the shape of what I'm carrying, and something about a person I should probably have phoned. The space between sleeping handed me a kind of clarity that the waking day dilutes within the first 10 minutes. I've started writing down whatever comes from that in between, before the morning logic edits and begins its visits. The space between sleeping, that's where I tell the truth. The space between sleeping, the most honest kind of proof that something underneath the surface knows what's real. The space between sleeping is the most I ever feel. Don't rush the waking, give the in-between its moment. The dream edge wisdom is the kind you rarely find in daylight. The space between sleeping is a practice and a mercy. Let the consciousness arrive, but ask it to come in politely. The space between sleeping, I'm still there a little. The space between sleeping, right here in the middle. Something true is present in the soft before the day. The space between sleeping, let me stay.
Wet pavement holds the streetlight differently than dry. The orange bleeds into the puddles, whiter, warmer, strange. I walk through it at 5 in the morning, not by choice, but because the apartment got too quiet to contain. The rain stopped 20 minutes back, but left its language on the street. The smell of it, the sheen of it, the cool. I've been reading Wet Pavement for years now like a poet, using other people's weather as a personal tool. Wet pavement, the street remembers everything. Wet pavement, the rain's still here in everything. The street light in the puddle, and the cold between my shoulders. Wet pavement, the morning keeping everything. There's a specific kind of loneliness that rain produces, not the sad kind, more the clarifying, honest one. The kind that makes the edges of the self more visible. The kind that shows you what you're made of when you're undone. I walked until the sun began assembling in the east. Not sunrise yet, just the suggestion of a coming gray. The wet pavement reflecting something I can't quite articulate. The city and my feeling being readable the same way. Wet pavement, the street remembers everything. Wet pavement, the rain's still here in everything. The street light in the puddle and the cold between my shoulders. Wet pavement, the morning keeping everything. I don't need the sky to clear for me. I'm reading the rains afterward just fine. Wet pavement is the morning's honest face, and I'm reading every line. Wet pavement, and I walked all the way through. Wet pavement, the street reflecting something true. The cold between my shoulders and the orange in the deep. Wet pavement, mine to keep. "5:47 and the platform's almost empty. One woman with a suitcase and a man who's reading still. The fluorescent light does nobody any favors at this hour, but there's an honesty to ugly light that daylight never will provide. The flattering kind of morning hides the tired. The 5:47 crowd has nothing left to hide. We stand together in our separate quiet understandings that something brought us here before the easier world arrived. 5:47, neither night nor morning yet. 5:47, the hour you don't forget, when everything is stripped and nothing's been performed. 5:47, honest, cold, and early morning warm. I take the early train because I like the city empty. The streets that belong to delivery trucks and dawn. The bakery releasing steam through rusted basement windows. The dog walkers who nod like members of a club we're in. I've learned more about myself in pre-dawn city transit than in all the curated hours of a normal waking day. There's a version of me that only shows at 5:47 that I'm slowly learning how to let the rest of me display. 5:47, neither night nor morning yet. 5:47, the hour you don't forget, when everything is stripped and nothing's been performed. 5:47, honest, cold, and early morning warm. The woman with the suitcase, I wonder where she's going. I wonder if she's running toward or finally running from. The man still reading, I wonder what's so urgent that he needs the just people carrying our reasons to the 547 platform in the cold. Maybe the early train is just where the honest people gather before the day decides the stories will be told. 547, and I'm glad I came today. 547, something real was in the way. The early morning showed me something I won't name. 547, I'm not quite the same. I write in the margins of the books I'm reading, because the margins are where the honest thoughts collect. The main text is for what the author meant to tell you. The margins are for everything I haven't sorted yet. Early morning is my margin, the unscheduled hour between the night and what the daylight will require. I write the things I can't fit into conversation, the thoughts too soft or strange to hold above a fire. Margin notes, the thoughts that live beside the main thing. Margin notes, the ones that aren't finished, aren't quite ringing true enough to say out loud, but true enough to keep. Margin notes, the pre-dawn thoughts that go too deep. I've annotated every book I've loved with questions, with the things their words collided within me. The margins know my history better than my journals. They hold the conversation I was having silently. This morning I found one from 3 years ago exactly. A question mark beside a line about returning home. I don't remember writing it, I don't remember asking, but Marge and me was worried about something I've since known. Margin notes, the thoughts that live beside the main thing. Margin notes, the ones that aren't finished, aren't quite ringing true enough to say out loud, but true enough to keep. Margin notes, the pre-dawn thoughts that go too deep. Talk to me in margins, in the spaces between what you mean to say. I'll read between the lines of you the way I read the pre-dawn every day. Some things are only true in margins, in the quiet beside the main. Talk to me in margin notes before the day explains. Margin notes, I'm writing in them now. Margin notes, the pre-dawn showing me how to hold the things too quiet for the day. Margin notes, I'll keep them anyway.
fire catches, that's my favorite part. The trying, not the burning, that's the thing that's in my heart. The pale gray breath of winter rising slow from frozen ground. The in-between of almost, that's the most honest sound. I've been in love with thresholds more than what comes after them. The almost and the not yet, and the moment before when things become inevitable and the outcome's known. The smoke before the fire is the realest thing I've shown. The smoke before the almost of the thing. The smoke before the fire starts to sing. I live inside the reaching and the not quite there. The smoke before the morning, cold and thin and rare. Cold and thin and rare. December light is different, comes in low and apologetic, like it knows it's not enough, but shows up anyway. There's something I respect about the winter sun's commitment to rising every morning, even on the shortest days. I've been a winter sun kind of person in my trying. Not the summer blaze, but something slower, longer, colder lit. The smoke before the fire is the evidence of effort, the proof of something warming even when it hasn't caught yet. The smoke before the almost of the thing. The smoke before the fire starts to sing. I live inside the reaching and the not quite there. The smoke before the morning, cold and thin and rare. Maybe the smoke is not the failure of the fire. Maybe the smoke is just the fire telling you it's coming. Be patient, I'm still learning how to burn. The smoke before is not the almost, it's the beginning. The smoke before, and now the fire's here. The smoke before, it took a season, but it's clear the reaching was the whole thing all along. The smoke before the morning made me strong. Three sugar spoons, that's how she made the coffee. 2 for the cup and 1 because she liked the extra sweet. She never measured anything by what the recipe suggested. She measured by what made the people at the table feel complete. I watched her every morning of every summer that I visited. The ritual of 3 spoons, like a prayer before the day. And now I'm standing in my kitchen doing exactly 2 and wondering what the extra sweetness was. She knew to say 3 sugar spoons for the people that you're making it for. 3 sugar spoons, a little more than what it calls for. Love is in the extra, in the one you didn't need. 3 sugar spoons, that's what she believed. She's been gone for 6 years now, The kitchen's someone else's, but I dream about that coffee on the mornings I need most. The pre-dawn when I need something to believe in past the waiting. 3 sugar spoons, the warmest kind of ghost. I've started doing 3 on the mornings that feel heavy. Not measuring, just pouring like she taught me without words. The extra sweetness tastes like being known by someone deeply. The kind of knowing that outlives itself and still gets heard. 3 sugar spoons for the people that you're making it for. 3 sugar spoons, a little more than what it calls for. Love is in the extra, in the one you didn't need. 3 sugar spoons, that's what she believed. I'll teach someone my 3 spoons someday. Let them wonder what the extra means. The ritual carries more than coffee. It carries everything in between. 3 sugar spoons, I pour them every morning now. 3 sugar spoons, she taught me more than she knew how. Love is in the extra, in the one beyond the need. 3 sugar spoons, that's the thing I'll always keep.
I set my alarm for gentle, not the jarring kind. The one that rises slow and asks instead of demands. There's a version of beginning that doesn't start with urgency. A morning that arrives on its own unhurried plans. I've been learning the art of the soft start to the day. Not because the day deserves it, but because I do. The gentle alarm teaches me I'm worth the consideration of waking up as someone, not a function, something true. Gentle alarm, the morning asking how I am. Gentle alarm, not a siren, not a slam. Just the suggestion that the day is here and waiting. Gentle alarm, the kindest way of waking. I know people who attack the morning like a competition, who greet the 5 a.m. like they owe something to the dark. I've tried that version, it produces a particular exhaustion that starts the day already spent before it starts. The gentle alarm is not about the time you rise, it's about the quality of meeting what arrives. I'd rather start 1 hour later and begin with something honest than race the clock and lose myself before I've come alive. Gentle alarm, the morning asking how I am. Gentle alarm, not a siren, not a slam. Just the suggestion that the day is here and waiting. Gentle alarm, the kindest way of waking. You are allowed to start slowly. The world will still be there. The gentle alarm is just the morning saying, I see you, take your time, I'm not going anywhere. Gentle alarm, and I answered it today. Gentle alarm, I met the morning halfway. Just the suggestion of the day and what it's offering. Gentle alarm, I'm up, I'm here, I'm following. Blue hour driving, that specific shade of morning, when the sky hasn't picked a color yet, and neither have I. The road is mine and no one else's for another 20 minutes, before the world remembers that the day has come alive. I don't know where I'm driving, that's the whole point of the blue hour. Direction isn't what you need when what you need is space. The highway opens up and takes whatever I've been carrying, and doesn't ask me to arrive at any particular place. Blue hour driving, the road before the day. Blue hour driving, the meat before the fray. Everything is open, nothing's been decided. Blue hour driving, I'm finally unguided. The radio finds something from 15 years ago exactly. A song I loved before I knew what loving cost. I sing along to words I haven't thought about in seasons, and feel the strange relief of something not entirely lost. Blue hour driving teaches me about the self in motion, the version that exists when I'm not standing still to be assessed. Moving through the pre-dawn with the window slightly open, the cold air on my left arm saying, you are here, the rest. Blue hour driving, the road before the day. Blue hour driving, the meat before the fray. Everything is open, nothing's been decided. Blue hour driving, I'm finally unguided. I'll have to turn around eventually, the blue hour doesn't last. But right now every mile is mine, the city is growing in the glass. The future's in the rear view, not quite here. Blue hour driving, I'll stay in it a little longer this year. Blue hour driving, and the sky's beginning now. Blue hour driving, I figured something out. Everything was open, and the road was mine today. Blue hour driving, I'm going to be okay.
Almost morning, the sky hasn't committed yet. The dark is losing confidence by a slow degree. I've been watching from the roof for 20 minutes in my jacket, and the horizon's doing something only I can see. A specific shade of possible, not gray and not yet blue. The moment when the world is in the middle of becoming. Almost morning is the most alive I've felt in recent memory. The watching of the coming, not the come. Almost morning, the world between the states. Almost morning before the day translates everything to ordinary. Right now it's still the threshold, almost morning, the most beautiful of late. I've been someone who arrives before the thing begins, who gets there early just to watch the room fill up, who wants the almost more than the completely, who loves the warmth of the pre-dawn empty cup. There's a version of the future I can feel from here, not certain, just suggested, just almost within reach. Almost morning teaches me that almost is enough sometimes, that almost has a beauty that the certain cannot teach. Almost morning, the world between the states. Almost morning, before the day translates everything to ordinary. Right now it's still the threshold, almost morning, the most beautiful of late. Stand in the almost for a minute longer. The threshold has its own particular grace. Almost morning is not the failure to be morning, it's the whole world gathering in one place. Almost morning, and it's finally here. Almost morning, the sky is going clear. The world between the states, and I was watching. Almost morning, I was there. Sunrise came in orange this particular morning, not the gray to white I've been expecting for a week. I stood there at the window with my coat still on from going out, and felt something I don't have good language for yet, something like relief. The ordinary miracle of color, doing what it does without intention and without an audience in mind. The sky didn't do it for me, but I was there to witness, and that's the whole exchange, the miracle and the finding. Ordinary miracle, the world just being what it is. Ordinary miracle, not meant for me but given. The morning that arrived in orange unexpectedly. Ordinary miracle, and I was there and living. I used to save the word miracle for things deserving of it, the large and the confirmed and the officially divine. But I've been reconsidering the ordinary thresholds, the moment when the body that I live in is still mine, when the coffee tastes exactly right and someone holds the door, when the song I need comes on without my asking for the song. The ordinary miracle, the unremarkable accumulation of things that could have gone another way but didn't all along. Ordinary miracle, the world just being what it is. Ordinary miracle, not meant for me but given. The morning that arrived in orange unexpectedly. Ordinary miracle, and I was there and living. I'm not asking for the extraordinary, I'm asking for the orange once a week. The ordinary miracle of still being here to notice the morning coming in, the color that I need. Ordinary miracle, and the orange held today. Ordinary miracle, I didn't look away. The world just being what it is, and me here in it. Ordinary miracle, I'll take it every minute. Linen and light, that's the first thing every morning. The curtain holding sunlight like it has something to give. The way the fabric moves with just the smallest breath of something, reminding me how little is required to simply live. I've complicated mornings in 1,000 different ways, made them about productivity and what the day demands. But linen and light don't care about my schedule or intentions. They just arrive and do their quiet, generous thing and stand. Linen and light, the simplest kind of beautiful. Linen and light, the morning offering its pull towards something soft and present and enough. Linen and light, reminding me that most of life is love. My mother always opened every curtain in the house. Before she made the coffee, it was a ritual and right. She said the morning needed to know you were expecting it. You had to meet it halfway, welcome it inside. I carry that without thinking now. The first thing every morning, I pull the curtain back before I'm even really awake, and the light comes in like it's been waiting at the threshold, patient and unhurried, and with nothing left to take. Linen and light, the simplest kind of beautiful. Linen and light, the morning offering its pull towards something soft and present and enough. Linen and light, reminding me that most of life is love. You don't have to earn the morning, you don't have to be ready for the light. It comes regardless, patient, warm, returning, like doesn't remember the night. Linen and light, that's enough. That has always been enough. Linen and light, and I'm finally here. Linen and light, the morning finding me clear. Something soft and present and enough. Linen and light, and most of life is love. Cold kettle on the counter from last night's forgotten tea. The kitchen holds the evidence of who I used to be. Just hours ago, the version that was certain she was fine, who made the tea and meant to drink it somewhere down the line. The morning finds me differently than evenings ever do. The armor hasn't formed yet, and the light is honest blue. I stand here in my socks on the cold kitchen tile and decide I'll be okay. I haven't been in a while. Cold kettle, here but didn't finish what I started. Cold kettle, maybe that's okay. Some things get left, that doesn't make me cold or broken hearted. I boil the water fresh and watch the steam rise slow. There's something meditative in the things we do below the threshold of intention, just the automatic kind. The hands that know the morning when the rest of me's behind. My grandmother said breakfast is a promise to yourself. I never understood until I started living by myself. The cold kettle teaches me to try again each morning without shame, just water, heat, and starting without warning. Cold kettle, proof I was here but didn't finish what I started. Cold kettle, maybe that's okay. Some things get left, that doesn't make me cold or broken hearted. Fill it up, set it right. Small acts of faith in the early light. The kettle doesn't know about the night before, it just gets warm. That's what kettles are for. Cold kettle, I'm filling you again. Cold kettle, small mercy in the when of mornings that arrive before I'm ready. Cold kettle, keeping something steady.
Before the birds decide the day has started, I sit beside the window with my coffee going cold. The city holds its breath between the dark and what comes after. The version of myself that's truest mostly goes untold. There's something in the pre-dawn that strips away the performance. No one's watching, nothing's due. The light is not yet harsh. I breathe the cold air coming through the barely cracked open window, and feel the weight of something gentle settling in my chest. Before the birds, before the light decides, before the world remembers I exist inside. This hour is the softest thing I know. Before the birds, just me and the letting go. I made a list once of the things I'd do with mornings when I had the time. I never quite got there. Now the time is here and I just sit beside the window and decide that sitting still is something worth the care. The dawn comes in by degrees. It doesn't announce itself. It just slowly makes the dark a little less complete. Before the birds, I get to be unfinished and unhurried. The whole day waiting quiet, and the cold is almost sweet. Before the birds, before the light decides, before the world remembers I exist inside. This hour is the softest thing I know. Before the birds, just me and the letting go. Maybe this is all I need, a window and a cooling cup. The dark that's slowly turning the world not yet woken up. I don't need it to mean something, I just need it to
Before the birds, this is the most honest I've allowed myself to feel. Before the birds, the morning finds me here. Before the light, before the noise, before the year decides what it demands of me today. Before the birds, I'm quietly okay.
First light inventory, I do it every morning now. Count the things that didn't leave while I was sleeping. The coffee in the window and the sound outside the building. The body's still intact, still breathing, still keeping time. I take a quiet stock of what I have before the day decides what I'm supposed to want more of. The list is ordinary, and the list is everything. First light inventory of being loved enough. First light inventory, what's here, what's held. First light inventory, what the night didn't fell. The small accumulation of the ordinary things. First light inventory, the grace that morning brings. I lost a lot in the years that made me careful. Not all at once, the way things go when they go slow. The first light inventory started as a survival habit, a way to measure what was left, to know the ratio. But somewhere in the counting of the ordinary mornings, it became less about the loss and more about the found. The coffee in the window and the sound outside the building, and the strange abundance of the simple and the sound. First light inventory, what's here, what's held. First light inventory, what the night didn't fell. The small accumulation of the ordinary things. First light inventory, the grace that morning brings. You don't need the grand things to have something. The small inventory is complete. Coffee, window, body, morning, that's enough to build from. That's enough to keep. First light inventory, and it's all still here. First light inventory, another morning clear. The ordinary list of things, the night returned to me. First light inventory, that's enough, that's plenty. Lazy river running somewhere to the south. Got a mango in my hand and juice all around my mouth. Shade trees hanging over every small town road. And your voice is like the music that I didn't know I owed you. Slow everything down for me, the way the summer light should be. Mango afternoon, all heat and gold. Every story that you tell me, I want to be told. Mango afternoon, nowhere to rush. Nothing in this world is beautiful as us. We stopped the car beside a field of sunflowers tall. Took 100 photos, knowing we can't save them all. Time does what it does, but memories get to stay. And this mango afternoon is one I'll never trade away. Oh, afternoon, all heat and gold. Every story that you tell me, I want to be told. Mango afternoon, nowhere to rush. Nothing in this world is beautiful as us. Ooh, if time could bend, I'd bend it here, right here with you, in the sweetest time of year. Sweetest time of year. Mango afternoon, stay a little longer, babe. Mango afternoon. Salt and bread on the table in the morning, the oldest offering, the simplest things to share, before the complicated languages of gratitude were invented. Salt and bread were saying, I am glad that you are there. My father set the table without ever calling it a ritual. He just did it every morning. Salt and bread. I thought it was ordinary until I lived alone a while and understood the ceremony and the things he never said. Salt and bread, the oldest way of saying, salt and bread, I'm glad you're here, I'm staying. The simplest offering between two people at a table. Salt and bread is all I need to be grateful. There's a French word, _dépaysement, for the feeling of being somewhere far from home, but fed by something real. I felt it far from home and at my own kitchen table. Salt and bread arriving just before the feelings congeal into something I can name,
The recognition that the ordinary morning is itself a kind of grace, that setting the table is an act of faithful repetition, that says, I believe tomorrow will deserve a place. Salt and bread, the oldest way of saying salt and bread. I'm glad you're here, I'm staying. The simplest offering between two people at a table. Salt and bread is all I need to be grateful. Set the table even when you're eating alone. Set it like someone's coming, like you deserve the care. Salt and bread and a place that's been prepared for you. That's the morning saying, I'm glad you're there. Salt and bread, and I set the table today. Salt and bread, the oldest thing I know to say. I'm glad you're here, I'm glad I'm here, we're staying. Salt and bread, that's all the prayer I'm praying. Unread pages in the book beside my bed. The dog-eared chapter 7 where I fell asleep. The sentences I've started and not finished for a week. The story waiting patient in the dark for me to keep. My promise to return, and so I do at dawn. Before the obligations and the inbox and the wait, I read 3 pages with my coffee while the light's still honest, before the day decides the person I should be today. Unread pages, the story that's been waiting. Unread pages, the patient, quiet keeping of a world that doesn't end just because I went to sleep. Unread pages, mine to finally meet. I've collected unread books the way some people collect the certainty of plans they're going to keep. The shelf is full of good intentions and of seasons, of mornings that I meant to read and chose instead to sleep. But this one I come back to every morning. 3 pages at a time, I'll take the slow road to the end. There's something about the unhurried reading in the pre-dawn that makes the words mean more than when I try to comprehend. Unread pages, the story that's been waiting. Unread pages, the patient, quiet keeping of a world that doesn't end just because I went to sleep. Unread pages, mine to finally meet. Read it slowly, let it take the time it needs. The story isn't going anywhere without you. Unread pages are just the invitation still extended to come back to the world someone made for you. Unread pages, I read 3 more today. day. Unread pages, the story on its way. The patient world of someone else's making. Unread pages, mine for the taking. Fog keeps things at a reasonable distance, makes the world feel smaller, manageable, contained. I walk the familiar street and it becomes mysterious. Everything I know made gently strange again. The fog keeps the far things soft and undemanding. The horizon disappears, and so does what I owe it. I can only see as far as 10 or 20 meters, and somehow that's exactly what I need to slow it. What the fog keeps, I don't always need to see it. What the fog keeps, the world at half a distance. What the fog keeps, the future soft and pending. What the fog keeps is enough for now. I've been someone who needs to see the whole road before I walk it, who maps the route before the feet agree to go. The fog has been a teacher and it's patient, uninviting, of the parts of me that need to know, need to know, need to know. This morning in the fog I walked to nowhere in particular, just followed what the 20 meters offered and no more. The fog kept everything I wasn't ready to be looking at, and gave me just this street, this breath, this worn down shore. What the fog keeps, I don't always need to see it. What the fog keeps, the world at half a distance. What the fog keeps, the future soft and pending. What the fog keeps is enough for now. Fog is just the air deciding to be visible, just water saying, look, I'm here, I'm real. Maybe what the fog keeps isn't hidden, it's just patient, waiting for the morning when you're ready how to feel. What the fog keeps, I'm learning to release it. What the fog keeps will find me when I need it. The world at half a distance, that's a gift. What the fog keeps carries me through this. last hour of dark deserves a kind of reverence. It's been holding everything while everyone was gone. The dark did something patient and unglamorous for hours, and now it's handing back the world right before the dawn. I've started treating it like something worth acknowledging, the last deep blue before the gray begins its work. The dark that kept the sleeping and the dreaming and the quiet deserves a moment's recognition for the hours in the murk. The last hour of dark before the morning takes it. The last hour of dark before the light replaces everything the night has been so quietly holding. The last hour of dark, the ending worth beholding. I sit inside it on the mornings that I can afford to, without a screen or task or thing that needs to be begun. Just the last dark and the slow suggestion of the window, the way the room assembles itself before the sun. There's grief in it, a little, in the ending of the darkness. Not because I wanna stay in dark, but because endings deserve a breath of recognition, even when what follows is genuinely better, even in the best of new beginnings. The last hour of dark before the morning takes it. The last hour of dark before the light replaces everything the night has been so quietly holding. The last hour of dark, the ending worth beholding. Think the dark before you let it go. It held you through the hours you don't remember. It kept the world intact while you were sleeping. The last hour of dark, I'll meet you in